Hello and welcome to episode 3 of the Noob Corner series with me, Raindale. And today we are exploring equipment proficiency and how it influences the stats that you get from the equipment you put onto your units. So, for all of your units, they have a proficiency rank for weapons, for armors, and for accessories. And the amount of stats that they gain from the pieces of equipment that they have equipped varies depending on their proficiency ranks. So, every piece of equipment has a rarity, ranging from UR to normal rarity. And if you're equipping a UR piece of gear, you need a proficiency of A to have 100% of its stats. If you're equipping a MR piece of gear, you need B, SR, C, and etc. So what that means, if you're equipping a UR piece of gear and you have never leveled your proficiency, it's still at E, you only gain 60% of its stats. So it is quite an important difference, and leveling proficiency can mean a couple hundred points of HP or 50 points of attack depending on the weapon you're equipping, so it's pretty important. So how do you level it? Well, contrary to some other mechanics in the game, there hasn't been much data mining about equipment proficiency. So let's take a look at the official resource on the War Division support website. So what they say is that equipment proficiency improves when a unit has the proper type of gear equipped and performs actions during quests. So what this means is, you need to bring your unit into single-player combat. You need to have the right type of gear equipped, so to increase your proficiency with weapons, you need a weapon. To increase proficiency with armor, you need an armor. And to increase proficiency with accessories, you need an accessory equipped. And then your unit must absolutely go into combat and use TP skills or attacks if all they do is move, or if the battle is won before your unit takes a turn and does anything, then you're not gaining any proficiency. So I've seen scenarios where my units would never gain proficiency because they didn't have any TP skill to cast and they were too slow compared to my other units, so they never got to attack. One trick that I found to go around this is to give them a TMR with an ability they can cast, ideally something like Mon's TMR, which has 2 casts, so it's at least 2 actions that those units are going to do if they have turns. So really, I don't have numbers on how many combats are needed to increase proficiency, but what I have tested from experience is that it levels much faster if your unit is doing something in the battle than the amount of battle it takes to level your Esper proficiency, for example. So while you slowly farm your Esper resonance and your unit affinity, you will naturally get your equipment proficiency so long as you have the right type of equipment equipped and your unit actually contributes to battle one way or another. Now, contrary to Esper Resonance, you also cannot just skip combat to gain equipment proficiency. Your unit has to actually go into combat because what's recorded is not the amount of battles you've done, but rather the amounts of actions that you have taken. So, now that we've spoken about how to get it, let's speak about how to view it in-game. And it's not very complicated. All you have to do is long-click on a unit, and then it brings you this unit menu here, and you can see their equipment proficiencies right there. So for example, my Elshra has a proficiency of A in weapon and armor, but still only of D in accessory, because I've only recently begun equipping her with an accessory. And you can do that for every unit and slowly see their proficiency levels. That is also true if you were to go into the unit menu and click on a unit, you'll see their proficiency right there in the bottom. Alright, so that was short and sweet. Equipment proficiency is very impactful, and if all you do is skip combat to gain your Esper Resonance, for example, you'll never get your proficiency up because your units need to actually contribute to combat. But if you're using just putting your phone on auto and letting your units fight naturally, slowly gaining Esper Resonance, affinity, you'll also get your equipment proficiency up rather quickly. So it's not difficult to level, you just have to make sure that your units can actually do something. So making sure that they have TP abilities to cast or that they are in range to attack the enemy. Once that is set up, you're good. So, that was it for me. Thank you very much for watching, and please let me know what other topics you'd like me to cover in those videos. I release one of those Noob Corner videos every week on Tuesday, so what you ask as a topic just might be the next video. Once again, thank you so much for your time, and have a great rest of your day.